What if I told you that in just 30 days your English could feel different? That in 1 month you could speak with more confidence, understand faster, and finally feel like English is part of your daily life? You don't need years. You don't need perfect grammar. You just need 30 days, a clear plan, and the courage to start today. And that's exactly what we are going to do together. Part 1. The beginning of the 30-day plan. Today we are starting something very special together. The 30 days plan for English learning. And that is exactly what we are going to do. We are going to walk through a 30-day plan to learn English step by step. I will guide you like a friend, like a teacher, and by the end, you will see how much your English speaking, your English confidence, and your English fluency can grow in just 1 month. Maybe right now you are thinking, can I really improve English in 30 days? And my answer is yes. You can improve your English fast if you have a clear plan, if you practice every day, and if you stay motivated. This video is not just theory, it is real practice. I will give you examples, dialogues, and little challenges you can try immediately. The more you do them, the faster you will improve. So let's imagine this together. It is day 1. You have decided, yes, I want to speak English confidently. Yes, I want to improve my English fast. Yes, I want to follow this 30-day plan. The first step is simple, but powerful. It is about building the habit of speaking English every single day. Not once a week, not sometimes, but every day. Because 30 days is short, but also long enough to build a new habit. When you make English part of your daily life, it stops being only study. It becomes natural. It becomes normal. And that is how you build English fluency. Let me give you an example. Imagine you wake up in the morning. Instead of just thinking, I have to brush my teeth, you say it out loud in English. I am brushing my teeth now. When you make coffee or tea, you say, I am making coffee. When you put on your shoes, you say, I am putting on my shoes. These small sentences may look simple, but they are powerful. They make you think in English. They make your brain comfortable with English words. This is the first challenge in our 30-day plan. Describe your daily actions in English. Even if it feels strange at first, it works. Now, some learners ask me, but teacher, what if I don't know the right word? That's okay. Don't stop. Use simple words. Use gestures, or even use your phone to check the word quickly. The important part is not perfection. The important part is practice. Remember this. Fluency is not about knowing every word. Fluency is about using the words you know with confidence. So for the first few days of our plan, your goal is not to be perfect. Your goal is to speak English every day in small sentences about your real life. Let's try a short dialogue. Imagine you are with a friend and you are both speaking in English. You, hi, I am making tea. Do you want some? Friend, yes, thank you. I like tea. You, great. I will give you a cup. Very simple, right? But this is real communication. This is how English becomes part of your life. And the more you do it, the faster you improve. Another key part of the 30-day plan is listening. Listening is like fuel for your English. If you listen more, you will speak better. So from day one, I want you to listen to English every single day. It doesn't matter if it's a podcast, a YouTube video, a song, or even this lesson again. The more English you hear, the more your brain learns the rhythm, the sounds, and the flow. So combine speaking and listening from the beginning. Speak a little. Listen a lot. Repeat again. That's the cycle. Now, let's talk about motivation. 30 days sounds exciting on day 1, but maybe on day 5, day 10, or day 15, you will feel tired. You will think, I don't have time today. Maybe I will skip. But skipping is dangerous. If you skip one day, it becomes easy to skip 2, 3, 4. That's why we make this plan together. I will encourage you. I will remind you that every small step is progress. Even 5 minutes of English a day is better than 0. So tell yourself, no excuses. Just practice a little every day. That is how you win. Before we close part 1, let me give you your first real challenge. Today, after this video, I want you to do 2 things. 1. Say out loud at least 10 sentences about your daily actions. Example: I am washing my hands. I am sitting on the chair. I am opening the door. 2. Listen to at least 5 minutes of English. It can be anything: music, a podcast, or another YouTube video. Do this today, and tomorrow you will feel different. You will feel proud. You will feel that you are already walking on the road to English fluency. And here is the exciting part. In the next section, I will show you how to organize your time, how to create a simple daily schedule that makes English learning easy, natural, and fun. You don't want to miss this. Part 2. Creating the daily English schedule. Welcome back, my friend. In part 1, we started the journey. We talked about the importance of daily speaking and listening. We also talked about the power of small sentences and daily actions. Now, in part 2, let's go deeper. Let's create a simple schedule for your 30-day English learning plan. This schedule will help you stay consistent. It will give you structure, and most importantly, it will make English part of your daily life in a natural way. Remember, the goal is not to study for 5 hours every day. The goal is to study smart, not just hard. Even if you have only 20 minutes, you can improve your English fast if you use the time well. So let's break the day into 3 parts: morning, afternoon, and evening. In the morning, your brain is fresh. This is the best time to do short but powerful English practice. For example, when you wake up, spend 5 minutes speaking out loud. You can describe your morning routine in English. Say things like, I am brushing my teeth. I am washing my face. I am getting ready for the day. These sentences are simple, but they make English alive. If you start your day with English, you will feel motivated and confident. Now, in the afternoon, you may be busy with school, work, or family, but still, you can add small moments of English. Maybe during lunch, you can watch a short YouTube video in English. Maybe when you are walking or waiting, you can listen to an English podcast. Listening in the background helps your brain absorb English naturally. You don't need to understand every word. Just listen and get used to the sounds. The more you listen, the more comfortable you will feel when speaking. And in the evening, when the day is almost finished, you can do another short practice. This time, focus on speaking or writing. For example, before bed, you can tell a short story about your day in English. You can say, "Today I worked in the morning. I ate lunch with my friend. In the afternoon, I watched a movie. Now I am tired, but I feel happy." If you want, you can write this in a notebook. Writing helps you remember words, and speaking helps you use them. Together, they make you stronger. This is the daily schedule: morning speaking, afternoon listening, evening review. Simple, clear, and easy to follow. Even if you only spend 15 to 20 minutes in total, you are still making progress. The secret is not time. The secret is consistency. If you do this every day for 30 days, you will feel your English fluency grow. Let's try a short example dialogue to show how this works in real life. Imagine this is the evening review. You. Today I studied English in the morning. I learned new words. Friend. That's great. What words did you learn? You. I learned the words delicious and hungry. Friend. Can you use them in a sentence? You. Yes. My lunch was delicious. After lunch, I was not hungry anymore. Simple conversation, right? But very useful. It connects the new words with your real life. That is how you remember and use them with confidence. Now, some learners worry, but what if I don't have time? Let me be honest with you. Everyone has 5 minutes. Even busy people have 5 minutes in the morning, 5 in the afternoon, and 5 at night. That is 15 minutes in total. And 15 minutes every day for 30 days is a lot. It's 7.5 hours of English practice in 1 month. Imagine what you can achieve in 7 hours. Imagine how many words you can use, how many sentences you can build, and how much confidence you can gain. Here's a small challenge for you today. After watching this part, make your own simple daily English schedule. Write it on a piece of paper or save it on your phone. It can be like this: morning, 5 minutes speaking. Afternoon, 5 minutes listening. Evening, 5 minutes review. Stick it on your wall or put it near your bed. Look at it every day. Remind yourself that this is your plan, your commitment. If you follow it, you will speak English confidently and improve fast. Now, let me tell you a little secret. The schedule is not only about time, it is also about energy. If you practice English when your energy is high, your brain remembers better. For many people, that is the morning, but for others, maybe evening works better. The important thing is, choose the time that feels good for you. Don't force yourself to study when you are too tired. Choose the best moment and practice then. At the end of part 2, I want you to feel clear and ready. You now have the structure. You now know when and how to practice every day. In the next part, we will focus on vocabulary. We will learn how to choose the right words, how to remember them, and how to use them in real conversations. This will take your English to the next level. So don't stop here. Get ready, because part 3 is all about growing your vocabulary and speaking with more confidence. Part 3, building vocabulary for real life. Now in part 3, we are going to talk about something very important: vocabulary. Because without words, you cannot speak. Words are the building blocks of English. If you want to speak English confidently, you need to collect words, remember them, and use them in real life. But don't worry, I will show you how to do this in a simple way that really works. First, let's answer a big question. How many words do you really need to speak English? Some people think they must learn thousands and thousands before they can talk. That is not true. You don't need every word in the dictionary. You only need the most common, useful words for daily life. For example, eat, drink, go, come, want, like, need, good, bad, happy, tired. These are simple, but they are powerful. With just a few hundred words, you can already have real conversations. So here is the first step of our vocabulary plan. Focus on useful words. Don't waste time memorizing difficult, rare words that you will never use. Instead, learn the words that you need every day. Imagine this. You go to a cafe. You want to order something. What words do you need? Coffee, tea, water, please, thank you. These words are simple, but they are real. You will use them again and again. That is the secret to fast improvement. Now, how do you remember new words? Many learners try to memorize long lists, but after one day, they forget. That's normal. Our brains forget lists. But our brains remember stories, examples, and real-life connections. So when you learn a new word, don't just look at it. Use it. Say it. Put it in a sentence about your life. That is how you make the word stick in your memory. Let's try together. Imagine you learn the word hungry. Don't just repeat hungry, hungry, hungry. Instead, say, I am hungry now, or I was hungry yesterday, or when I wake up, I feel hungry. See? You are not only learning the word, you are living with it. That is what makes vocabulary powerful. Here's a short dialogue with some useful words. You. I am hungry. Let's eat something. Friend. Good idea. What do you want? You. I want pizza. Pizza is delicious. Friend. Great. Let's go to the cafe. In this short dialogue, you used hungry, want, delicious, and cafe. These are words you will really use. And if you repeat dialogues like this every day, you will remember them easily. Another good trick is to connect words with feelings. For example, when you eat something tasty, stop for a moment and say, "This is delicious." Your brain will connect the word delicious with the happy feeling of eating. When you are tired, say, "I am tired." When you are excited, say, "I am excited." This way, the words are not just words. They are part of your life. Now let's talk about learning phrases, not only single words. A single word is useful, but a phrase is more powerful. For example, instead of only learning the word hungry, learn the phrase I am hungry. Instead of only learning coffee, learn the phrase can I have a coffee, please? Phrases are ready-made sentences. They help you speak faster and more naturally. And the good news is, You don't need grammar explanations to use them. You just copy and practice. Here's a small vocabulary challenge for today. Choose 5 new words or phrases from your day. For example, I am hungry, I like tea, I am happy, I want water, I feel tired. Write them down. Then say them out loud 3 times. After that, try to use each one in a short sentence about your real life. Do this today, and tomorrow you will remember them. Now let's connect this with our 30-day plan. Every day, you will collect just 5 new words or phrases. Not 50, just 5. That is easy, right? 5 words a day for 30 days is 150 words. And these are not random words. These are your personal, useful, real-life words. Imagine what you can do with 150 new words. You can order food, make small talk, describe your day, ask for help, and talk about your feelings. That is real fluency. Before we end this part, let me remind you of something important. Don't worry about forgetting. Everyone forgets sometimes. The key is review. When you review the words again and again, they stay in your long-term memory. That is why our evening review in the daily schedule is so important. In the evening, you look back at the 5 words you learned. You say them, you use them, and the next day they become easier. So now you have the system. You know how to choose useful words, how to practice them, and how to remember them with phrases and real-life examples. This is the vocabulary strategy that will help you speak English confidently and improve fast. But here is the next big step. Words are good, but they are not enough. You need to know how to connect them into sentences and how to use them in real conversations with real people. That is what we will explore in part 4. We will talk about simple grammar, sentence building, and conversation skills. This is where your English really starts to flow. Part 4. Making sentences and speaking naturally. Because vocabulary is powerful, but words alone are not enough. To speak English confidently, you must connect words into sentences. And don't worry, it's easier than you think. Some learners feel afraid of grammar. They think, oh no, grammar is too difficult. I will make mistakes. But let me tell you something important. You don't need perfect grammar to speak English fluently. You only need simple, clear sentences that people can understand. Fluency is not about perfection. Fluency is about communication. If you can connect words and people understand you, that is success. Let's start with the most useful pattern. Subject plus verb plus object. This is the heart of English. For example, you can say, I eat pizza, she likes coffee, or they watch TV. Very simple, right? But with this small pattern, you can already say many different things. Now, let's add a little more variety. Use the present continuous. Subject plus am, slash is slash r plus, verb plus ing. For example, I am eating pizza. She is drinking coffee. Or they are watching TV. With just these 2 patterns, you already have the power to say a lot. Imagine you want to talk about today. You can say, I am learning English. I am watching a video. I feel happy. I want to improve. That is already 4 sentences, and you can do this every day. Here's a short dialogue to see how this works in real life. You say, "Hi, what are you doing?" And your friend answers, "I am reading a book." You ask, "That's great. What book are you reading?" And your friend says, "I am reading a story in English." You finish with, "Wow, nice. I like stories too." Notice something here. The sentences are short, the grammar is simple, but the conversation is real. And that is what we want. Now, let's talk about mistakes. Many learners worry, what if I make a mistake? My answer is simple. Good. Mistakes are your teachers. Every time you make a mistake, you learn something new. If you never make mistakes, it means you are not trying. So, don't wait for perfect grammar before you speak. Speak now, even with mistakes. Your fluency will grow faster this way. Another helpful trick is to use sentence frames. A sentence frame is like a half sentence that you can finish with your own words. For example, I like it, I want it, I am it, or can I have it? With just these 4 frames, you can make hundreds of sentences. Try it. Say, I like apples, I like English, I like music, I like my teacher, I like sunny days. That is already 5 sentences. Do the same with I want, wow, and I am. And you will quickly have 15 sentences in just a few minutes. This is excellent daily practice. Now let's connect this with your 30-day plan. Remember the evening review? Each night you can make 5 short sentences about your day. Use the simple patterns we practiced. You might say, today I worked. I ate lunch. I watched a video. I learned English. I feel tired now. That is 5 clear sentences. If you do this every day, your speaking will get smoother and smoother. But here is something very important. Don't just read the sentences in your head. Say them out loud. Your mouth needs practice too. Speaking English is like training a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Even if you are alone, speak out loud. Pretend you are talking to a friend. Record yourself if you want, then listen and repeat. This will make you more confident and help you sound natural. So let's review quickly before we move on. You now know how to use simple sentence patterns like I eat pizza and I am eating pizza. You know how to use sentence frames like I like parsao and I want oh wow. You know how to practice by making short sentences every day, and you know that mistakes are a good thing, not a bad thing. You are now ready to use your vocabulary in real sentences. But words and sentences are still not enough. The next step is conversation. Talking with people, asking questions, answering, sharing ideas. That is where your English fluency really begins to grow. And that is exactly what we will explore in part 5. We will learn how to start real conversations in English, even if you are shy, even if you are a beginner, and how to keep the conversation going without feeling nervous. Part 5. Starting Real Conversations. Welcome back, my friend. You are doing so well. In Part 4, You learned how to build sentences, how to use simple patterns, and how to practice out loud. Now, it is time for the next step, real conversation. This is the part many learners feel nervous about. They say, I can understand English, I can read, I can write, but when I talk to someone, I freeze. Does that sound familiar? Don't worry. You are not alone. Almost every learner feels this way. The good news is you can change it. First, let's make one thing clear. Conversations don't need to be long or complicated. A conversation can start with just one question. For example, you can say, "How are you?" "Where are you from?" "Do you like coffee?" or "What are you doing today?" That is enough to open the door. A conversation is like a ball game. You throw the ball with a question, and the other person throws it back with an answer. Then you catch it and throw it again. That's all it is. Catch and throw, question and answer. Now let's practice. Imagine you meet someone new. You can say, "Hi, nice to meet you." "Where are you from?" The person says, "I am from Brazil." You answer, "Oh, that's great. I like Brazil. Do you live here now?" The person says, "Yes, I live here." You continue, "Cool. How long have you been here?" And just like that, you are having a real conversation. Notice something important. The grammar is simple, the sentences are short, but the connection is real. That is fluency. Sometimes learners worry, what if I don't understand everything the other person says? Here's the secret. You don't need to understand every word. You only need the main idea. If you miss something, you can ask, "Sorry, can you repeat that?" Or, "Can you say that more slowly?" Native speakers do this too. Even in your first language, you sometimes ask people to repeat. It's normal, so don't feel embarrassed. Asking for clarity is part of good communication. Another trick to keep a conversation going is to use follow-up questions. For example, if someone says, "I like football," don't just say, "Oh, nice." Ask more, "Really? Which team do you support?" Or "When do you usually play?" This makes the conversation longer and more interesting. It also shows the other person that you are curious and listening. People love to talk about themselves, so asking questions is a powerful tool. But maybe you are thinking, what if I have nothing to say? That's okay too. You don't need to be funny or brilliant. You just need to share something simple about yourself. For example, if someone asks, "How was your day?" you can say, "It was good. I studied English. I watched a movie. I went for a walk." That's enough. Small talk is about connection, not about deep ideas. Over time, your sentences will grow longer and your thoughts will flow faster. Let me tell you something important here. Conversation is not just about words. It's also about body language, eye contact, and tone. If you smile, if you look relaxed, people will enjoy talking to you, even if your English is not perfect. Confidence is not about having perfect grammar. Confidence is about being willing to try. When you show a friendly attitude, people will listen and support you. So here is your practice for the next few days. Every time you meet someone who speaks English, try to ask at least one question. It can be simple. How are you? What's your favorite food? Do you like music? Even one question is progress. If you are not around English speakers, practice online. Join a language group, comment on a YouTube video, or use an app. The important thing is to open your mouth and use your English with real people. Let's review quickly before we move on. You now know how to start a conversation with simple questions. You know how to keep it going with follow-up questions. You know how to handle moments when you don't understand. And most importantly, you know that confidence comes from trying, not from perfection. This is a huge step forward. In part 6, we will go deeper. We will talk about daily immersion, how to surround yourself with English so that it becomes part of your life, not just a school subject. This is the secret that will make your English grow faster than you ever imagined. Part 6. Daily Immersion in English. Welcome back, my friend. You are making real progress. In Part 5, you learned how to start real conversations and how to keep them alive with simple questions. Now it's time for something even more powerful: daily immersion. This is the step that will change everything. If you want to speak English confidently, you must surround yourself with English every single day. Think of it like living in an English-speaking country without leaving your home. That is what immersion is. You see, many learners make the mistake of studying English only when they have time, maybe 1 hour on the weekend or a short lesson once in a while. But language does not grow with small, random moments. It grows when you live with it, when it becomes part of your daily routine. Immersion means you bring English into your life in natural ways, through listening, reading, speaking, and even thinking. When you do this every day, your brain starts to see English as normal. It becomes automatic. Let's start with listening. Listening is the fastest way to train your brain to understand English naturally. You don't always need to study listening. You can just play English in the background. For example, while you cook, clean, or walk, listen to a podcast or a YouTube video in English. Don't worry if you don't understand everything. Your brain is learning, even when you don't notice. This is the same way babies learn their first language. They listen first, then speak. Now, let's talk about reading. Reading gives you vocabulary and sentence patterns. But here's the key: read what you enjoy. If you like sports, read sports news in English. If you like fashion, read about fashion. If you like stories, read short novels or comics. When you read things you actually like, you don't get bored. And when you are not bored, you remember the words better. So, choose materials that make you curious. Curiosity is your best teacher. Speaking is also part of immersion. But you don't need to wait for a conversation partner. You can practice speaking with yourself. Yes, talk to yourself in English. Describe what you are doing. I am making coffee. I am opening the window. The weather is nice. Or tell yourself about your day. Today I studied. I talked to a friend. I watched a movie. This may feel strange at first, but it is powerful. You are training your brain to use English actively, not just passively. Another secret to immersion is thinking in English. Many learners translate from their language to English in their mind, and that slows them down. Instead, try to think directly in English, even if the sentences are simple. For example, instead of thinking in your own language, I need to go to the store, and then translating, just think it in English. I need to go to the store. With practice, your brain will stop depending on translation, and you will become faster and more natural. Here's a challenge for you. Choose 1 hour of your day and make it English only. During that hour, listen, read, think, and speak only in English. No translation, no switching back to your native language. At first, it might feel difficult, but soon it will feel fun, like a game. And little by little, your English brain will grow stronger. Now, let's talk about consistency. Immersion only works if you do it every day. Even 15 minutes a day is better than 2 hours once a week. The goal is to keep your brain connected to English daily. Think of it like watering a plant. If you give the plant a little water every day, it grows. If you give it a lot of water only once in a while, it dries out in between. Your English is the same. Daily practice is the water that keeps it alive. Before we end this part, let's do a quick review. Daily immersion means living with English every day, listening to English, reading things you enjoy, speaking to yourself, and thinking directly in English. It means making English part of your world, like music in your ears or pictures in your mind. When you do this, English stops being a subject you study and becomes a lifestyle you live. That is how fluency happens. In Part 7, we will focus on something many learners forget: reviewing and reflecting. You see, it's not only about practice, it's also about looking back at what you learned, noticing your progress, and fixing your weak spots. This step is the key to improving fast and staying motivated. You don't want to miss it. Part 7. Reviewing and Reflecting. Welcome back, my friend. You have come so far. In Part 6, we talked about immersion, how to live with English every day, how to listen, read, speak, and even think in English. Now, we are going to talk about something just as important: reviewing and reflecting. Many learners skip this step, but it is one of the biggest secrets to learning faster and remembering longer. Here's the truth. Your brain does not always remember something the first time you see it. Think about it. Have you ever learned a new word and then forgotten it the next day? That is normal. Your brain needs repetition. Reviewing is how you give your brain a second chance, a third chance, and even more chances to lock the word into your memory. Reflecting is how you notice what is working for you and what is not. Together, reviewing and reflecting make your learning strong. Let's start with reviewing. Imagine you learned 10 new words this week: improve, confident, challenge, routine, focus, enjoy, mistake, listen, conversation, and practice. If you only see those words once, you might forget half of them tomorrow. But if you see them again, read them again, or use them in sentences, they will stick. For example, you can review by writing a short story with the words, "I enjoy my English practice. Every day, I focus on listening. I don't worry about mistakes. I want to improve and feel confident. This routine is my challenge, but it helps me have better conversations." See how the words come alive? That's how you review. Now let's talk about reflecting. Reflecting means asking yourself questions about your learning. You can ask, what new words did I use today? Which parts were easy? Which parts were difficult? Did I speak more fluently than yesterday? When you reflect, you see your progress clearly. Sometimes learners feel like they are not improving, but when you stop and look back, you realize how far you have come. Maybe last month you could not even introduce yourself confidently, but now you can have small conversations. That is real progress, and reflecting helps you see it. Another powerful way to review and reflect is to keep a learning journal. Every day, write a few sentences in English about your practice. For example, today, I listened to an English podcast for 20 minutes. I learned the word curious. I felt nervous speaking, but I tried. I want to use the word curious tomorrow in a sentence. When you look back at your journal after 1 month, you will see hundreds of small steps. Each step is proof that you are moving forward. Let me give you a simple challenge. At the end of each day, review 3 things you learned in English. Then, reflect by answering one question. How did I improve today? It might be small. Maybe you learned 1 new phrase or spoke 1 extra sentence. But even small improvements are big wins. Remember, fluency is built step by step, not all at once. Here's something important to remember. Reviewing is not boring if you make it active. Don't just read your notes quietly. Speak them out loud. Use the words in new sentences. Teach them to a friend. Even talk to yourself in the mirror. Today, I learned the word confident. I feel confident when I practice English every day. The more active you are, the faster the words and patterns become part of your natural speech. And here's the magic. When you combine daily immersion with daily review and reflection, your progress becomes unstoppable. Immersion gives you new input. Review makes sure you don't forget. Reflection keeps you motivated and clear about your growth. Together, they create a cycle of improvement that builds fluency faster than you can imagine. So let's summarize. Reviewing means repeating what you learned until it becomes strong in your memory. Reflecting means asking yourself questions to see your progress and find your weak points. Both are simple, but both are powerful. If you make them part of your 30-day English plan, you will feel the difference in your confidence and fluency. In Part 8, we are going to bring everything together. You will see how all the steps, daily practice, building sentences, real conversations, immersion, review, and reflection combine into one powerful plan, and we will look at the results after 30 days. Trust me, you will want to hear this final part. Part 8. The results after 30 days. Congratulations, my friend. You made it all the way to the final part. You've walked through this entire journey with me, step by step. We started with small daily practice. Then we built sentences, learned how to have conversations, discovered the power of immersion, and saw why reviewing and reflecting are so important. Now it's time to put it all together and see what happens after 30 days of following this plan. Let's imagine you started on day 1. At that time, maybe you felt nervous speaking. Maybe you always translated in your head. Maybe you had the words, but not the confidence. But then you made a choice. You decided to practice every single day for 30 days. You didn't wait for perfect conditions. You didn't wait to feel ready. You just started. That decision changed everything. In the first week, you built your daily routine. You practiced for 15 minutes, sometimes more. You listened, you read, you spoke to yourself. It wasn't easy, but you kept going. In the second week, you started building sentences. Suddenly, you could express more than single words. You could say things like, I like learning English because it helps me meet new people. Your confidence started to grow. In the third week, you entered real conversations. Maybe you asked a friend, how was your day? Maybe you joined an online chat. Maybe you spoke with yourself in the mirror. But for the first time, you didn't just study English, you used it. That was a huge moment, and by the fourth week, immersion had become part of your life. English was no longer something outside of you. It was in your ears, in your mind, in your daily thoughts. You began to think in English, even in small ways. By day 30, the results are clear. Your listening feels easier. You don't panic when someone speaks fast. You can catch the main idea even if you miss a few words. Your speaking feels lighter. You don't freeze like before. You may still make mistakes, but now you keep talking, and that's real fluency. Your vocabulary has grown because you read things you enjoyed. Your confidence has grown because you reviewed and reflected. And most importantly, you feel motivated because you can see your progress with your own eyes. Now, let me be honest. After 30 days, you won't be perfect. You won't sound exactly like a native speaker, but you will be different. You will be stronger, more confident, and more fluent than you were on day one. And here's the beautiful part. If you can do 30 days, you can do 60. If you can do 60, you can do 90. This plan is not just for 1 month. It's a lifestyle. Every day you continue, your English will grow. Think about this. What if you keep practicing for 1 year? How much more confident will you be? How many conversations will you enjoy? How many doors will open for you? New jobs, new friendships, new opportunities. The truth is, English fluency is not just about language. It's about freedom. The freedom to connect with people from all over the world. The freedom to travel, to study, to work anywhere. The freedom to express yourself clearly without fear. So here is my final challenge for you. Don't stop after 30 days. Keep going. Keep practicing. Keep building sentences. Keep having conversations. Keep immersing yourself. Keep reviewing and keep reflecting. Every step you take brings you closer to the confident English speaker you want to be. And remember this, fluency is not about being perfect. Fluency is about being brave enough to use your English, even with mistakes. It's about connection, not perfection. If you can connect, you can communicate. If you can communicate, you are fluent. So, my friend, are you ready to continue this journey? 30 days have shown you what is possible. Now it's up to you to take the next step. Believe in yourself, keep practicing, and watch your English grow. You can do it. I believe in you.